Hello everyone. I am going to read you a book from the Black Lagoon Adventures, the book report from the Black Lagoon. It's written by Mike Taylor, illustrated by Jared Lee. Chapter 1. Read My Lips. Mrs. Green wants us to write a book report in 2 weeks on a real book. Not a picture book, not a comic book, but a real book with chapters. I asked her if I could write a movie report or a video game report. She said no. I'm a slow reader. It takes me 3 minutes to read a stop sign. I'll never do it. I'm doomed. Chapter 2. Sleeping on the Job. Mrs. Green marches us to the library to pick out our books. Mrs. Beamster is there to help us. I don't think she can help me. I'm beyond help. What are you interested in, Hubie? Mrs. Beamster, may I go to lunch early? This isn't my cup of tea. I'm interested in not writing a book report. What subjects do you like? There are books on just about everything: baseball, football, auto racing, history, mystery, and even spies. I'm interested in sleeping. Mrs. Beamster smiles. She goes to the shelf and brings back Rip Van Winkle. It's about a guy who falls asleep for 20 years. He should get a new alarm clock. Next, she brings me Sleeping Beauty, about a princess who falls asleep for 100 years until a prince comes along and kisses her on the lips. Ugh. Talk about morning mouth. After going through shelves of books, I finally pick Robin Hood. Mrs. Beamster says it's exciting and even has a few pictures. I like pictures. Chapter 3. Book Talk. On the bus, all the kids were talking about their book reports. Boring. Eric says he's going to do the phone book. He must be kidding. I've got his number. Freddie has a cookbook. That's a recipe for disaster. Doris chose a book about ballet. That will keep her on her toes. Randy's got a book about all the planets. Far out. And Derek's reading a thesaurus. Is that about dinosaurs? And they're saying, I wonder how many Smiths and Joneses are in the Los Angeles phone book. I'm going to find out how many recipes use chocolate. Cavalier is the male partner of the ballerina. Pluto is called a dwarf planet, and it's the farthest from the sun. Happy, joyful, fortunate, lucky. My favorite meat is bacon. They're all thinking about the books they have. What's your book, Hubie? Asked everyone. I took out my book. It's big, it's heavy, it's full of words. I put it back in my book bag. Hey, says Eric, I saw the movie. It's about a guy in green pajamas who lives in the forest and shoots arrows. Is that it? I asked. That's it, says Eric. I wonder why it took the author so many words to say that. Picture, Robin Hood. Chapter 4. The Wrong Foot. When I get home, I go straight to my room and close the door. No milk, no chocolate chip cookies, no video games. I open my book. In front it says, Table of Contents. Oh, there are a lot of chapters and 238 pages. If I read a page every 20 minutes, that's 4,760 minutes. 60 minutes into 4,760 is more than 79 hours. I'll be an old man when I finish this book. Maybe I do need a chocolate chip cookie. And I'll be as old as Rip Van Winkle by the time I read this. Chapter 5. A cookie, not a bookie. Can I have another cookie, Mom? Hubie, you've already had 12. You're going to ruin your appetite. Just one more, Mom. Is something bothering you? I have to read a book. So, a big book. So, a book with 50,400 words. How do you know how many words are in the book? I counted them. Hubie, a book is not a math problem. A book is an adventure. The longer, the better. When you're reading a good book, you don't want it to end. Can I have another cookie, Mom? Chapter 6. Once around the block. I go back to my room. I pick up the book. Heavy. Maybe I should clean my room up before I start. It'd be easier to read in a neat room. So I straighten my room. Hubie, it's time for dinner. Saved by the smell. After dinner, I help Mom wash the dishes. I take out the trash. I take my dog for a walk. I start to vacuum the rug. Hubie, you're acting very strange. Are you sick? Mom feels my forehead. You're a little hot. What's wrong? I've heard of writer's block. Well, I have reader's block. Hubie, maybe you should take a hot shower, put on your pajamas, and go to sleep. Chapter 7. Climbing Mount Neverest. That night, I have a bookmare. I'm standing in front of a giant mountain, a mountain of words. I start to slowly climb. Suddenly, there's a rumbling, and the whole mountain shakes. It's an avalanche. I'm buried in words. I wake up under my pillow. I run to my mom's room. Luckily, she's up reading. What's wrong, Hubie? Can't sleep. Well, get back in bed. I'll make you some hot chocolate, and I'll come in and read to you. Chapter 8. A Straight Arrow. Mom reads to me from my book, Robin Hood. The first chapter tells how Robin Hood becomes an outlaw. He's betrayed by an evil king. I want to stay up and see what happens, but my eyes slowly close. When I wake up, my book is on the nightstand, and Mom has a beautiful green bookmark in it. I open to that page and start reading. Hubie, it's time for breakfast. You're going to be late for school. Oh, Mom, can't I just finish this chapter? I get dressed in record time and run to the bus stop. I read while I'm waiting for the bus. It comes much too soon. I keep reading and almost trip while getting on the bus. I sit down next to Eric. Hey, Hubie, I heard a really funny joke. Later, I'm reading. There's the school bus. Chapter 9. Hooked on the book. I tuck my book on my lap and read during class. Hubie, who was the third president of the United States? The Sheriff of Nottingham. Hubie, I want to see you after class. Can I read my book with me? I read during recess. I play right field. My mint makes a good book stand. Luckily, nobody hits a ball out there. Hubie, do you want to come over after school and play video games? I got the latest one. Cage fighting with dinosaurs. Sorry, Eric. Robin is in trouble. I have to see what happens. It's gotten into a really interesting book. Chapter 10. In the Groove. And so it goes. Hubie, it's time for dinner. I'm reading, Mom. Hubie, your favorite TV show is on. I'm reading, Mom. Hubie, it's time to go to sleep. I'm reading, Mom. I've become Mr. I'm reading, Mom. But things are working out for Robin Hood. Little John, you and Maid Marian ride into town and buy more arrows. We also need milk and bread. He's reading part of that from his book. Chapter 11, The Finish Line. What do you think that title of the chapter, what do you think this chapter is going to be about? The Finish Line. I bet he's going to finish the book. I finished the book and wrote my report. It was long. It was good. I got an A+. My first one. Maybe I'll be a writer one day. If I can find the time between reading books, I'll be busy because there are millions of books to read. Hubie, we have to go to the library. We have to go. The library has been closed for an hour. One more minute, Mom. And that is the end of the book report from the Black Lagoon. So, he talked about in here, in chapter 4, about the table of contents. So, do you guys know what the table of contents is? You know what the author is and the illustrator is. So, the table of contents, when you open your book, usually just a page or two over, there will be like this. And it lists the chapters and the title of the chapter and the page number that chapter starts on. So it kind of gives you an idea of, by reading the title, what each chapter is going to be about. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the book report from the Black Lagoon. See you later.